Captain Jae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Dauntless *, his eyes fixed on the main screen. The massive alien ship had appeared suddenly at the edge of Earth's solar system 3 days ago. Now it hung in orbit, gleaming like a silver teardrop against the blackness of space. "Any response to our messages?" Jae-ho asked, his voice steady despite the tension. "Yes, Captain," said Communications Officer Yuna. "They're sending a transmission now." The screen flickered, and Jae-ho found himself looking at a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It had scales like a reptile, 4 eyes set in a wide face, and stood nearly 7 feet tall. The alien wore what looked like a complex environmental suit with tubes and blinking lights. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien said, its voice translated by the ship's computer. "I am Ambassador Terok of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace and request a meeting with your leaders." 24 hours later, Jae-ho stood in the United Earth Council chamber as Terok and 3 other aliens were welcomed. The aliens moved carefully, as if the simple act of walking required great effort. "We apologize for our awkward movements," Terok said to the assembled human leaders. "Your gravity is challenging for us. At nearly twice what we consider standard, it puts great strain on our bodies." The Earth President nodded politely. "We understand. Please, tell us more about your confederation." Terok explained that the Galactic Confederation included over 300 species from thousands of worlds. They had been exploring this arm of the galaxy for centuries, but had only recently detected Earth's technological signals. "We classify all planets on a scale," Terok continued. "Class 1 worlds are paradise planets with ideal conditions. Class 15 worlds are death traps where no intelligent life should be able to evolve." Jae-ho noticed the alien's 4 eyes blink rapidly as he said, "Our initial scans classified Earth as a Class 15 death world. We did not believe it was possible for intelligent life to develop here." A murmur ran through the human delegation. "What makes Earth so dangerous in your view?" asked the science minister. Terok gestured to his environmental suit. "Everything. Your gravity is crushing to most species. Your atmosphere contains oxygen levels that would be toxic to many races. Your bacteria and viruses are incredibly aggressive. Your predators are numerous and deadly. Your weather patterns are extreme. Even your radiation levels from your sun are higher than what most species consider safe." Jae-ho watched as the alien's body language showed clear discomfort, even fear. They kept looking around as if expecting some deadly creature to attack at any moment. "And yet," Terok continued, "not only did life evolve here, but you humans thrived. You built civilizations and technologies while living on a planet that would kill most species within minutes of exposure. This is unprecedented." The defense minister leaned toward Jae-ho and whispered, "They're afraid of us." Jae-ho nodded slightly. It was true. The aliens were treating humans with the caution one might show toward dangerous animals. "The Confederation wishes to establish diplomatic relations with Earth," Terok said. "We believe we have much to learn from each other. However, we must proceed carefully. Your physical capabilities alone make you quite different from any species we have encountered." As the meeting continued, Jae-ho studied the aliens. Their environmental suits hissed and clicked as they adjusted to Earth's conditions. When one alien accidentally touched a plant in the council chamber, it quickly pulled back its hand as if burned. Jae-ho realized something important in that moment. Humans weren't just joining a galactic community. They were entering as the dangerous ones, the species that could withstand conditions others found lethal. Earth wasn't just another world to these aliens. It was the Death World. And humans were the Death Worlders. The universe had just become a lot more interesting. Dr. Hannah Park adjusted her lab coat and watched as the alien scientists set up their equipment. 3 weeks had passed since first contact, and the United Earth Council had approved a joint research program. As Earth's top biologist, Hannah was chosen to lead the human team. "Dr. Mirok, may I help you with that?" Hannah asked, noticing the tall, four-armed alien struggling with a heavy scanner. "No," Mirok said quickly, his voice nervous. "The weight is not the problem. It is your microbes. Even through our suits, contact with humans is risky." Hannah tried not to feel offended. "I understand. But remember, we've lived with these microbes for thousands of years. They're part of us." Mirok's large eyes blinked rapidly. "That is exactly what fascinates us. You live in harmony with organisms that would kill most species." In another part of the research center, military advisor Dae-Sung Lee stood at the window, watching a new alien ship dock at the space station above Earth. It was the 5th this week. "Another research vessel?" asked his assistant. Dae-Sung frowned. "So they say. That makes 23 alien ships in our orbit now, all for research. The Confederation seems very interested in us," his assistant said. "Yes," Dae-Sung replied quietly. "Very interested." Back in the lab, Hannah was showing the aliens a sample of human blood under a microscope. "Your immune cells are remarkably aggressive," said Dr. Linar, a small bird-like alien. "They attack foreign bodies with incredible speed. We evolved that way," Hannah explained. "Earth has many diseases and parasites. Without strong immune systems, we wouldn't survive." The aliens exchanged looks that Hannah couldn't read. Later that day, alarms blared through the research center. Hannah ran to the alien section to find Mirok on the floor, his environmental suit torn. 2 other aliens were trying to help him, their movements panicked. "What happened?" Hannah asked. "His suit tore on a table edge," Linar explained. "He's been exposed to your atmosphere for 3 minutes. The oxygen levels are burning him from inside." Hannah quickly grabbed an oxygen filter from a nearby emergency kit. "This will help reduce oxygen intake. Get him to your medical bay." The aliens hesitated. "We don't know if." "Now," Hannah ordered, "or he'll die." They followed her instructions. 6 hours later, Mirok was stable. The oxygen filter had worked. "You saved his life," Linar told Hannah. "We did not think it was possible to survive direct exposure to Earth's atmosphere." "Humans adapt," Hannah said simply. "And we help others adapt too." That evening, Hannah met with Dae-Sung at the government building. "They're afraid of us," she said, sipping her tea. "Everything about Earth terrifies them. Our gravity, our air, our germs, even our food." Dae-Sung nodded. "And yet more of their ships arrive every day. I counted 3 new military vessels disguised as research ships." "Military? Are you sure?" "I studied their designs. Those aren't scientific equipment bays. They're weapon ports." Hannah set down her cup. "But why?" "We've been peaceful. Think about it, Hannah. From their perspective, humans are dangerous super beings who live on a deadly planet, breathe poison, and fight off microbes that would kill their people instantly. But we're not a threat to them." Dae-Sung looked out the window at the alien ships visible in the night sky. "They don't know that yet, and some of them might not want to wait to find out." Hannah followed his gaze. "So what do? We keep working with them. Show them the humans aren't just strong. We're kind too." He paused. "But we also prepare, just in case some of them see Deathworlders as a threat rather than allies." Above them, another alien ship entered Earth's orbit, its lights blinking in the darkness. Junior diplomat Soo Bin Choi was not supposed to be on the Confederation space station. No humans were. The massive ring-shaped structure orbiting Jupiter had been declared off-limits to Earth representatives during what the aliens called internal deliberations. Soo Bin had other ideas. Using her small size and the strength that came from growing up in Earth's gravity, she squeezed through a maintenance tunnel that no alien could fit through. The environmental suits they needed to survive made them even bulkier. "Advantage. Deathworlders," she whispered to herself as she reached a ventilation shaft above the main council chamber. Below her, hundreds of alien representatives sat in a vast circular room. Some floated in special tanks. Others wore different types of environmental suits. All were discussing humans. "The data is clear," said a tall, crystalline being. "Humans can withstand radiation levels that would kill most of us. Their bones are dense due to their high-gravity world. Their immune systems attack foreign bodies with shocking aggression." A blue-skinned alien stood up. "That is exactly why we should quarantine their planet permanently. They are too dangerous to join galactic society." Many voices shouted agreement. Subin frowned. This was worse than she had feared. A familiar voice spoke next. It was Ambassador Tarak. "I have spent time among humans. Yes, they are physically impressive by our standards. But they use their strength to help, not harm. When one of our researchers was exposed to Earth's atmosphere, their quick action saved his life. A single act of kindness does not erase the threat," countered a small bird-like alien that Subin recognized as Dr. Liner. "My research suggests humans could survive on 92% of Confederation worlds with minimal protection. We cannot say the same. To them, we would always be vulnerable." The chamber erupted in nervous chatter. A new voice cut through the noise. "Perhaps this vulnerability is exactly why humans could be valuable." All eyes turned to a gray-skinned alien with 6 limbs. "The Krell Empire expands at our borders. They have taken 3 systems in the past cycle. Their warriors are bred for combat, but even they cannot match what humans evolved naturally. Instead of fearing these Deathworlders, we could ally with them." Subin's heart raced. Some wanted to use humans as weapons against enemies. The crystalline being spoke again. "We should study them further. Their DNA contains adaptations we've never seen before. If we could harness these traits." "You speak of genetic theft," Tarak interrupted. "Humans would never agree to be harvested for their biological advantages." "They need not know," said a voice from the shadows. "We have collected samples already." Subin nearly gasped aloud. She reached for her hidden recording device, making sure it was capturing everything. The debate continued for hours. Subin remained perfectly still, despite cramping muscles. Finally, the council reached a decision. "We will continue diplomatic relations with Earth," announced the head counselor. "But we will also prepare containment measures should they prove hostile. And the genetic research will proceed in secret. Their adaptations could benefit all species." As the meeting ended, Subin carefully backed away through the tunnel. She had to warn Earth about what she had heard. Back on Earth, Dae-Sung Lee met with Captain Ji-Ho Kim in a secure room. "Another alien fleet arrived today," Dae-Sung said. "They claimed they're tourists wanting to see the famous Deathworld." Ji-Ho frowned. 25 ships just to look at us. I don't believe it." "Neither do I, and Subin hasn't reported in from her mission to the Jupiter station. It's been 3 days." Just then, Ji-Ho's communication device beeped. A message appeared. "Coming home. Have recording. Some see us as threats, others as weapons. Both dangerous. Subin." Ji-Ho looked at Dae-Sung. "We need to prepare the fleet, just in case." Dae-Sung nodded grimly. "I hoped it wouldn't come to this." "So did I," Ji-Ho replied. "But if they fear us simply for surviving on our own planet, they may not give us a choice." In space, Subin's small ship raced toward Earth, carrying information that could change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Commander Ta Wu-Kang stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Valiant *, staring at the view screen. 5 human ships faced 20 alien vessels. This was not a real battle. Yet, after Subin's return with recordings of the Confederation's secret meeting, Earth's leaders had made a bold move. They proposed joint military exercises to show humans could be allies, not enemies. "All ships report ready, Commander," said his first officer. Tai Wu nodded. "Remember, this is a demonstration. We show them what we can do, but we also show them we have control." The rules were simple. Each side would use training weapons that only marked hits on sensors, not causing real damage. The human ships had to defend a space station against the alien attackers. "Confederation fleet is moving," reported the sensor officer. They're splitting into 3 groups. Tai Wu smiled. A basic attack pattern. He had trained for much harder scenarios in Earth's gravity. Execute Plan Thunder, he ordered. The 5 human ships suddenly accelerated at speeds that shocked the aliens. Having evolved on a high-gravity world, humans could withstand much higher G-forces than most species. The Valiant Asterisk pulled a tight turn that would have knocked any alien crew unconscious. Target locked on lid ship, called the weapons officer. Fire, Ta Wu ordered. The training weapons hit 5 alien ships before they could respond. On the communication channel, Ta Wu could hear their surprise. How are they moving so fast? One alien captain asked. Their bodies should break under such pressure. The battle continued for an hour. The human ships darted between asteroid fields no alien would risk entering. They pulled maneuvers that seemed impossible. When it ended, the score was clear. 15 alien ships destroyed, while only 1 human vessel was hit. Admiral Zextal of the Confederation forces requested a meeting after the exercise. Your tactics are unexpected, the 6-limbed alien said. Your ships move like they are not carrying living beings. We're just built differently, Ta Wu explained. What would kill your people is normal for us. The alien's eyes narrowed. This is why some fear you. Before Ta Wu could respond, alarm sounded. A real distress signal came from a nearby sector. Confederation passenger ship under attack, reported Ta Wu's communications officer. Pirates. Admiral Zextal stood quickly. We must respond, but we are half a day away at safe acceleration. We're not, Ta Wu said. He turned to his crew. Battle stations, real weapons, maximum burn. The human ships rocketed toward the attack site, pulling G-forces that made even the human crews strain against their seats. They arrived in just 2 hours. 3 pirate ships were attacking a large passenger vessel. The pirates, not expecting any response so quickly, were caught by surprise. Target their weapons and engines only, Ta Wu ordered. Let's take them intact if possible. The battle was short. The human ships moved with the same speed and precision they had shown in the war games, but now with deadly purpose. 2 pirate ships surrendered quickly. The 3rd tried to escape but was disabled by precise fire from the Valiant Asterisk. When Admiral Zextal's fleet finally arrived, they found the human ships helping passengers from the damaged liner. You saved 200 lives, the Admiral said to Ta Wu. Many species we consider allies would not have reached them in time. On Earth, we have a saying, Ta Wu replied. Great power brings great responsibility. Yes, we're stronger and faster because of our world. But we use that strength to protect, not harm. The Admiral was quiet for a moment. Perhaps I have misjudged humans. You may be Deathworlders, but you have honor. As they worked together to help the injured passengers, something changed between them. For the first time, the aliens saw humans not just as dangerous creatures from a deadly world, but as potential guardians in a dangerous galaxy. Ambassador Jinna Yun tried not to show her discomfort as she walked through the Confederation capital. After 3 months of talks, Earth had finally opened its first embassy on Centralia, the heart of galactic politics. The gravity here was only half of Earth's, making Jinna feel like she might float away with each step. The air was thin, filtered of what aliens called toxic oxygen levels. You appear unwell, Ambassador, said her alien guide, Pelver. Shall I adjust your environment suit? Jinna smiled. I'm fine, just adapting to your world. Unlike the aliens on Earth who needed suits to survive, humans only used light-breathing masks on Centralia. Jinna had refused the full suit offered to her. She wanted to show strength without appearing threatening. The embassy celebration was attended by representatives from 30 alien species. Jinna gave a speech about friendship and cooperation. Many aliens seemed impressed, though some still watched humans with caution. Your kind adapts quickly, said Council Leader Trezix. Most species need generations to adjust to new environments. Earth taught us flexibility, Jin-A replied. When your home tries to kill you daily, you learn to change or die. Some aliens stepped back at her words, but others moved closer, fascinated. Later that evening, as the reception continued, Jin-A noticed her aide looking at a datapad with concern. "What's wrong, Sang-min?" she asked quietly. "Strange readings from the building systems," he replied. "Power fluctuations in the environmental controls." Before Jin-A could respond, a loud explosion shook the building. Alarms blared as smoke filled the hall. "Terrorist attack!" someone shouted. The environmental systems began to fail, and unfiltered air poured in through damaged vents. Panic erupted among the aliens. Many collapsed, their bodies unable to handle the changing air composition that was shifting closer to Earth normal. "Sang-min, get our people to help the injured," Jin-A ordered. "I'll find the control room." While aliens struggled to breathe, the humans removed their masks and worked efficiently. Jin-A ran through corridors that were now filling with what felt to her like perfectly normal air. She found 2 security guards trying to open the sealed environmental control room. "Stand aside," she said. Both aliens were struggling in the heavier oxygen levels. Jin-A gripped the jammed door and pulled with all her strength. On Earth, the gravity would have made this difficult, but here, with her dense muscles working in lower gravity, the door tore free. Inside, she found the controls damaged. Working quickly, she rerouted systems to restore alien-safe conditions to most of the building. In areas where that wasn't possible, humans were already helping aliens into emergency suits or carrying them to safety. 3 hours later, when emergency crews finally arrived, they found a surprising scene. Humans, comfortable in conditions that would kill most aliens, had organized an evacuation, treated injuries, and saved hundreds of lives. Council leader Trezix approached Jin-A, who was helping a young alien child find its parents. "You could have left when the systems failed," Trezix said. "The air became safe for you, but deadly to us." Jin-A shook her head. "That's not who we are." For many cycles, some have feared Deathworlders would be dangerous allies. Trezix admitted. Today shows they were right, but not in the way they thought. You are dangerous not because you wish harm, but because you have the strength to help when others cannot. As news of the human response spread across the Confederation, opinions began to shift. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Hannah Park made a disturbing discovery. Analyzing data from the alien research labs, she found evidence that someone had been collecting human DNA samples without permission. What would they want with our genetic material? She wondered aloud, staring at her screen. The answer would prove more dangerous than anyone imagined. Security Officer Min-Ho Baek moved silently through the data center on the Confederation Research Station. For 3 weeks, he had been tracking suspicious activity in the network. Someone was stealing information about humans. Medical data, genetic samples, combat records, everything. Min-Ho was good at his job. On Earth, he had been one of the top cybersecurity experts. Here, alien systems were different, but not better. "Found you," he whispered as his scanner detected an active data breach. He traced it to a terminal in the science wing. Min-Ho expected to find an unauthorized user. Instead, he found Kelvar, a blue-skinned alien who worked as the head of Confederation security. "Officer Baek," Kelvar said calmly. "This is unexpected." "I could say the same," Min-Ho replied, eyeing the data on Kelvar's screen. "Why are you downloading classified files on human physiology?" "Because someone else already has," Kelvar said. "And they shouldn't." Min-Ho raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Kelvar lowered his voice. "A faction within the Confederation military is collecting data on humans. I've been trying to find out why." "And have you?" Kelvar nodded. "They call it Project Deathworld. They want to create soldiers with human abilities." Min-Ho felt cold. "Using our DNA?" "Yes, human strength, endurance, and resistance to toxic environments, without what they call human weakness. Your compassion, your restraint." Minho's mind raced. The implications were terrible. Who's behind this? High Command. I have proof, but I need your help. Human eyes see patterns mine cannot. Working together, they accessed the secure servers. Minho's Earth-evolved reflexes allowed him to type faster than any alien, breaking through security protocols quickly. There, Kelvar said, pointing to a file. The project overview. Minho read it, his face growing grim. They've been doing more than collecting data. They've already created prototypes, human-based soldiers without human emotions or moral limits. We must report this to the Council, Kelvar said. Not so fast, Minho cautioned. Look at these authorization codes. Council members signed off on this. Kelvar checked the codes and hissed in shock. You're right. This goes to the highest levels. Just then, alarms blared. Security breach in Section 12, announced a computerized voice. That's us, Minho said. We've been discovered. Guards would arrive in minutes. Minho looked at Kelvar. Do you have a ship? A small transport in Docking Bay 3. We need to go now. We need to warn Earth and find allies in the Confederation who aren't part of this. They ran through the corridors, Minho easily outpacing Kelvar despite the alien's longer legs. Earth's gravity had made Minho stronger than most species. At an intersection, they encountered two guards. Stop, one ordered, raising a weapon. Minho moved with speed that seemed impossible to the aliens. He disarmed one guard before the alien could fire, while Kelvar stunned the other. By the stars, Kelvar whispered. I've seen the reports, but seeing human speed in person. Save the amazement for later, Minho said. We need to keep moving. They'd reached the docking bay with more guards in pursuit. The ship was small but fast. Kelvar started the engines while Minho secured the door. Can you fly this thing? Kelvar asked as they lifted off. I trained on simulators for all Confederation ships, Minho replied, taking the controls. Another Deathworlder advantage. We learned quickly. As they escaped the station, Minho sent a heavily encrypted message to Earth. Project Deathborn confirmed. Human DNA being used to create soldiers. High-level conspiracy. Heading to safe location with evidence and friendly contact. Trust no one in Confederation leadership. Behind them, the station grew smaller. Ahead lay uncertainty and danger. Where do we go now? Kelvar asked. Somewhere they won't expect. Minho replied. My friend Commander Tawu has a fleet patrolling the outer systems. If we can reach him, we'll have protection while we figure out our next move. Kelvar looked at Minho with new respect. You humans truly are remarkable creatures. Let's hope that's enough. Minho said grimly, because we're about to need every advantage our Deathworld gave us. Captain Jai-Ho Kim and diplomat Subin Choi stood on the bridge of the Dauntless Asterisk, looking at the red planet on the view screen. Vaporia was a Class 10 world with toxic gases and active volcanoes. Most species would die within seconds of exposure to its surface. Are you sure about this plan? Jai-Ho asked. Subin nodded. Minho's warning was clear. We need allies in the Confederation who aren't part of Project Deathborn. The Vaporians have been skeptical of the Council's official position on humans from the start. After Minho's escape with Kelvar, Earth had gone on high alert. The evidence they provided showed that the conspiracy reached deep into Confederation leadership. But not all alien species agreed with the plan to create soldiers using human DNA. Approaching Vaporia orbit, announced the pilot. Jai-Ho turned to Subin. Let's hope this works. The Vaporians were a race that evolved on a harsh world, though not as extreme as Earth. Their leader, Elder Torax, agreed to meet with the humans, but insisted the meeting happen on Vaporia's surface. It's a test, Subin explained. They want to see if we really can survive conditions other species find deadly. Jai-Ho, Subin, and 2 security officers took a shuttle to the surface. The air was thick with sulfur and ash. The humans wore only light-breathing masks, not full environmental suits. Most impressive, said Elder Torax, who met them at the landing site. His rocky skin was designed for his harsh world. Even our closest allies require full protection here. As they talked inside a simple meeting hall, alarms suddenly blared. Mining accident, explained Torax after checking the communication device. A tunnel collapsed. 50 of my people are trapped, and toxic gas is filling the chamber. We can help, Jai-Ho offered immediately. Torax looked skeptical. Even for Vaporians, that area would be dangerous now. But not for humans from a Class 15 world, Subin said confidently. Jai-Ho and his security team followed Vaporian guides to the accident site. The tunnel had collapsed, trapping miners behind tons of rock. Worse, the collapse had broken into a pocket of gas that was lethal even to Vaporians. We can't go in, said the Vaporian rescue leader. The gas will burn through our lungs. Jai-Ho checked his mask's readings. It's mostly sulfur dioxide with some hydrogen compounds. Unpleasant but survivable for us. For the next 6 hours, the humans worked in conditions that would kill most alien species. They moved heavy rocks in the high heat and toxic air. Jai-Ho led his team deep into the tunnel, where they found the trapped miners, and created a path out. By the time they emerged, covered in ash and sweat, but otherwise unharmed, Elder Torax and his council were watching in amazement. You saved 50 lives today, Torax said, in conditions we thought no space-faring species could endure. This is why we need to talk about Project Deathworld, Subin said. The council wants our physical abilities, but not our compassion. They don't understand that on Earth, strength without kindness doesn't survive long. Torax nodded slowly. I begin to see why they fear you. Not because you are dangerous, but because you show a better path than their control. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Subin's diplomatic partner was having similar success. On the technological world of Arteri, she demonstrated how human creativity thrived because of Earth's challenges. The Arteri, long neutral in Confederation politics, were impressed by human adaptability. But even as Earth gained new allies, the conspiracy moved forward. On a remote Confederation outpost, the first squad of modified soldiers, human genetics without human restraint, attacked the research station. The soldiers moved with terrifying speed and strength, killing everyone aboard. The message they left behind was simple: from Earth with fury. The trap was set. Now the real war would begin. Military advisor Dae-Sung Lee watched the recording for the 5th time. The attack on Neridian, a peaceful farming world, had left hundreds dead. The attackers moved like humans, fought like humans, but showed no mercy or restraint. They want the galaxy to think we did this, he said to Commander Ta Wukong. These berserkers have our strength, but none of our humanity. News of the attack spread quickly through the Confederation. Many worlds called for Earth to be quarantined or even destroyed. Only the allies Earth had made recently, the Vaporians, the Artari, and a few others, stood by humans. We need to catch one of these berserkers alive, Dae-Sung said. Prove they're not us. Tai-Wu nodded. I have an idea. The Confederation thinks these are rogue human soldiers. If we predict where they'll strike next, we can set a trap. Working with Kelvar and their alien allies, they analyzed the pattern of attacks. All targets were peaceful worlds with minimal defenses. The next likely target was the agricultural moon of Talbos. We'll be waiting for them, Ta Wu said. 3 Earth ships and 2 Vaporian cruisers hid behind Talbos' larger moon. For 2 days they waited. On the 3rd day, a black ship appeared. That's not an Earth design, Dae-Sung noted. Confederation special forces used those. They watched as 12 figures in dark armor landed on Talbos. The berserkers moved with frightening speed toward the main settlement. Now, Ta Wu ordered. The human and Vaporian ships swooped down. Ta Wu led a team of 20 soldiers to the surface while the ships blocked the berserkers' escape. The battle was unlike anything Ta Wu had experienced. The berserkers were as fast and strong as the best human soldiers, but they fought with a cold precision that no human would use. They don't protect each other, Ta Wu realized. They don't care if their teammates die. This was their weakness. While the berserkers fought as individuals, Ta Wu's team worked together, covering each other and moving as one unit. Target the one on the left, Ta Wu ordered. Stun weapons only. We need one alive. 3 humans focused their fire on a single berserker. When it dropped, 2 soldiers rushed forward to secure it while others provided cover. The remaining berserkers, seeing their mission compromised, tried to retreat to their ship. Most escaped, but Ta Wu's team had what they needed, 1 captured berserker. Back on Earth, Dr. Hannah Park examined the prisoner. The berserker was kept sedated in a high-security lab. Definitely human DNA, she told the Earth Council, but heavily modified. They removed the genes linked to empathy and moral reasoning. They enhanced strength, speed, and aggression. Ambassador Jinna Yun transmitted these findings to all Confederation worlds. These soldiers were created by someone within your own leadership, she explained. They used stolen human genetic material to make weapons that look like us, but are not us. Many still doubted, but then Kelvar released the full files on Project Deathworld, showing which council members had approved the program. They wanted soldiers who could fight on Deathworlds, Hannah explained to a group of alien scientists. But they removed what makes humans human: our compassion, our moral code, our ability to work together. We evolved these traits on Earth for a reason, she continued. A Deathworld doesn't just create strong bodies. It creates strong communities, because no one survives alone. Slowly, perception began to shift. The captured berserker was shown to representatives from neutral worlds. They saw the empty eyes, the lack of speech, the animal-like responses. This was not a human, but a weapon made to look human. Meanwhile, the conspiracy realized their plan was failing. The leader, High Commander Dravix, gathered his remaining berserkers and his loyal military forces. If we cannot turn the Confederation against humans through deception, he told his officers, then we will force their hand through direct action. Prepare for the final attack. On Earth, Captain Jae-ho Kim received an urgent message from their spies in the Confederation. Massive force gathering. Target: Centralia itself. They plan to force a war that no one can ignore. Captain Jae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the Dauntless Asterisk, leading a fleet of 30 Earth ships toward Centralia. The warning had come just in time. High Commander Dravix was launching his endgame, an attack on the Confederation capital with thousands of berserkers. All ships report ready, Captain, said his first officer. Jae-ho nodded grimly. The Vaporeon and Artillery fleets will meet us at the jump point. We have one chance to stop this war before it begins. The journey to Centralia took 18 hours at maximum speed. When they arrived, a terrible scene greeted them. 20 Confederation ships burned in orbit. On the planet below, explosions lit up the night side. The attack has already begun, Jae-ho said. Take us in. As the Earth fleet approached, enemy ships turned to face them. These weren't just berserkers, but Confederation military vessels loyal to Dravix. They're hailing us, reported the communications officer. The screen showed High Commander Dravix, his gray scales gleaming. Captain Kim, how predictable that Earth sends its ships to finish what your berserkers started. Those aren't our soldiers, Jae-ho replied. They're your creations, Dravix. We're here to stop them. Dravix laughed. Too late. The Council is already under attack. By the time I destroy your fleet, the berserkers will have killed the leadership. The Confederation will have no choice but to unite against the human threat. All ships, engage, Jae-ho ordered. The battle erupted in Centralia's orbit. Earth ships, designed by people who evolved on a high-gravity world, moved with shocking speed and precision. The Vaporeon and Artillery fleets arrived minutes later, joining the defense. On the surface, Ambassador Jinna Yun led a desperate effort to evacuate the council building. Berserkers had breached the defenses and were slaughtering everyone they found. This way, she shouted to a group of frightened aliens, leading them through a maintenance tunnel. Her Earth-evolved muscles allowed her to pry open doors that had sealed shut during the attack. "Why are you helping us?" asked a council member who had voted against Earth. "Your kind is attacking us." "Those aren't humans," Jin-A said firmly. "Real humans protect the innocent." In orbit, the battle turned against Dravix's forces. The human ships took damage but fought on. When a Vaporeon cruiser was hit badly, 2 Earth vessels moved to protect it, taking fire meant for their ally. Jai-Ho saw an opening. All power to forward shields. Target Dravix's command ship. The Dauntless shot forward, breaking through the enemy line. 3 other Earth ships followed. Together, they surrounded Dravix's vessel and disabled its engines. "Surrender, Commander," Jai-Ho demanded. On the planet below, Jin-A reached the Council's emergency broadcast system. With help from Subin, who had been on Centralia for diplomatic talks, she connected it to all Confederation channels. "People of the Confederation," Jin-A began, her voice reaching every ship and planet in range. "What you see today is not a human attack. These berserkers were created by Commander Dravix using stolen human DNA. They have our strength, but not our heart." As she spoke, footage played showing the captured berserker, the Project Deathborn files, and current images of humans rescuing aliens from the attack. "Humanity evolved on what you call a Deathworld," Jin-A continued. "But Earth didn't just make us strong, it taught us to care for each other. No one survives alone on a Deathworld. We learned to protect our communities, to value all life." In orbit, Dravix's remaining ships began to surrender as the truth spread. The conspiracy was exposed. Human and allied ships landed to help stop the berserkers on the surface. 3 days later, the Council reconvened in a temporary chamber. The leader spoke to representatives from all worlds, including Earth. "We misjudged humans," she admitted. "We saw their strength and feared it. We didn't understand that their greatest power comes not from their bodies, but from their hearts." Captain Jai-Ho stood with Jin-A, Subin, and Tau as Earth was formally invited to join the Confederation. "Welcome, Deathworlders," the Council leader said with new respect. "The galaxy is safer with you in it." As the ceremony ended, Jai-Ho looked at his friends and smiled. Earth's children had found their place among the stars, not despite being from a Deathworld, but because of it.